Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica, and in today's video I am going to be doing my December wrap up. December was a very interesting reading month for me. I had a lot going on, so I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to. I actually was when my mom ended up getting into she ended up having a seizure because she went into septic shock because there was an infection that was undiagnosed, and it caused her to go into septic shock. So we had to rush her to the hospital, and we've been doing that for a week. So I'm saying this is because that actually affected my reading, as well as my job affected my reading and how I rated books. And you'll just see that when I talk about the star ratings and stuff. But what I actually had, I was planning on, and I was in the middle, I was almost done with the vlog where I was going to have a vlog for you, because I read Chase Love It Wants Me by Helena Hunting, All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles, as well as Steal My Heart by Laura Pavlov. I was vlogging those for you because they're coming out in January 7th and 10th, and I'm just December 9th, 7th, and 10th. And I wanted you guys to see my reactions to them because it was a great one. But I ended up scrapping that vlog because what happened with my mom, I couldn't get myself to finish it. Well, scratch that. I actually did finish it, but you could tell I was withdrawn, and you could tell I wasn't normal. So I didn't really want to put that out on the internet. So I scrapped that vlog, but I will tell you what I thought of those books and what I rated them, and you'll see that on this video. But let's just get into the star ratings and all this stuff. So in December, I read 28 books. I had 4 5 stars. I told you things were messy for me. 4 4.5 stars, 11 4 stars, 4 3.5 stars, 3 2 stars, and I had 3 rereads. So that's really good for how December went. And for format breakdown, I listened to 20 audiobooks and read 8 ebooks. So that was actually really good. I got into ebooks. Now, you can thank some of the ARCs for that, because I didn't get the ALC, I got the ARCs, which I'm just happy to get them, to tell you the truth, so it's whatever. Anyway, for genre and subgenre breakdown, for historical romances, I read 2, 1 paranormal romance, 16 contemporary, that's including a lot of the Christmas books that I was reading, 3 fantasy romances or romanticities, 2 romantic suspenses, 1 historical fiction, and 3 cozy mysteries. So that's really good. So let's just get into my favorites, as well as the one that I was going to vlog, but obviously that didn't happen. So the first book that I gave 5 stars to was She's a Wild One by Kristen Proby. This is the last book in her Wilds of Montana series, and it was my favorite by far of the whole entire series. This one is Millie and Holden. They've loved each other since they were teens, but he had a piece of crap father who threatened some really, really bad things to Holden if he didn't break up with Millie. Let me put it this way. He threatened to unalive her and his sister, and he could do it. And so to protect Millie and his sister, Holden broke her heart. 8 years later, his jackass of a father dies and does everybody a favor. And he also made a stipulation for Holden to get his inheritance, which is the ranch, is that he had to get married within, I can't remember, it was like 60 days or 6 months or something like that, by the time after the will was read, in order to get his inheritance. Otherwise it would go to different developers and stuff. So Holden goes and talks to Millie, because he was not going to marry anyone but Millie. She's Millie Wilde, so this is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type situation. Millie's friends with Holden's sisters, but there's just so much animosity between their fathers, and for very, very good reasons. I'm not going to spoil that for you. However, when Holden talks to her, he tells her about the stipulation in the will, and he doesn't completely come clean why he does it. He's like, I want to make sure my my sisters get what they deserve out of the inheritance. And he burns down his dad's old house and the out properties because he's like, I'm burning down what his father was about. And Millie agrees to this because she never really stopped loving Holden, to tell you the truth. She just hated what he did to her 8 years ago. And this one has the my wife energy so much. Holden, he could never have anyone but Millie. That's all he ever wanted was Millie. And she only wanted him. And it was such a interesting plot and a great romance. It was very dynamic. There is some stuff that you need to be aware of there. So there's trigger warning for abuse of parents, death of a parent, murder of a parent by another parent, mention of past animal cruelty, femicide that was kept quiet, and grief. This romance was well paced, and it just had the plot was so enthralling. I highly recommend this book. This is such a good book. I highly recommend this one. And then for a while, I didn't have a 5-star. So that's where we get to when I got these arcs, which were last week. At the beginning of last week, I got a bunch of arcs. The first arc that I got that in that vlog that you're never going to see comes out June 7th, and it's All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. This one is Ridley. She is a true crime podcaster. Something happened to her sister when they were younger, and it's haunted her. Colt, he's the sheriff in Shady Cove, and he's very protective over his sister because of something that happened to his sister a long time ago, years ago. And he doesn't trust Ridley because he doesn't trust true crime podcasters. Emerson, who is his sister, kind of helps him see his errors of his ways, but also Colt gets to know Ridley and understands Ridley's motivations. And they hated each other at the beginning, but they were very attracted to each other. And they had this hate to love thing going on. The romance was well paced. It worked really well within the suspense plot of the story. We wanted to know who was the serial unaliver, who did this, and who is now going after Ridley. And I did not guess the villain. It was so well done. I did not guess the villain. I'm really, really happy about that. But the other thing is there's a little bit of a subcontext of a thread that people in a small town, they know each other, but they don't truly know each other because people keep secrets. And that there's a whole thing because we're looking at different suspects who did these horrible crimes, right? And we're looking at them and we're examining them along with Ridley and Colt. And they're coming up with why were they looked at to begin with. Well, they didn't do it, but they did something else, if that makes any sense. I highly recommend this. It comes out till January 7th. I did listen to the ALC, and it was Andy Arndt and Sebastian York, and they did an amazing job on the audiobook. Highly recommend it. And the next one in that vlog you'll never see, I had the arc, not the ALC, but the arc of Steal My Heart by Laura Pavlov. This is book 1 in her new series. This one is coming out, I want to say, let me look for you. January 9th. This one's coming out January 9th. This one is Easton Chadwick and Henley Holloway. This one, the way we get to know Easton Chadwick was this one line that he was saying that he's good at the law, he's good at sex, and he loves pickleball. So he loves the law, sex, and pickleball. Everything else, he could take it or leave it. So unfortunately or fortunately for him, Henley is the boss's daughter, and she is not the Nepo baby that he thought she was going to be. She is incredibly intelligent. She outscored him on, I think it was the bar, and the bar is a very, very difficult test to do, but she was able to outscore him. Their dynamic was definitely hate to love because he was very grumpy, but he was overprotective. There's a thing about mental health in here, about anxiety over loss of a loved one, because he lost someone very close to him, and now he's afraid of feeling that feeling again because he is falling in love with Henley. When he falls in love with her and he says it, he's all in. He follows her lead on how everything should proceed with telling whom and everything. And I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the characterization. I enjoyed the romance. I enjoyed the plotting of it. We got to see Nash and Emmy, who is his twin sister, and we got to reunite with Beefcake. And I loved the third act conflict where Nash and Beefcake basically metaphorically slapped Easton over the head for being an idiot. I loved it. I gave 5 stars, and I highly recommend this one. Now, I will say this. I kind of want to go back on some of these where I had the ARC, but I didn't have the ALC, and I want to listen to the audiobooks because the audiobooks are generally really good. So I might do that. Anyhow, let me know if you want me to vlog past arcs that I had that I didn't have the ALC. If so, let me know which ones you would like to see if we do that. Just let me know if that's a vlog you would like from me in 2025. So let me know. The last book that I did vlog for that was a ALC of Chase Lovett Wants Me. And this one is Cami Lovelock. This is college hockey, okay? And it's kind of insta-love. So they meet when they are assigned to the same hotel room because her name is actually Cameron. And they think that she is a boy, and when in fact she's a girl. And he becomes enthralled with her. And it's such a great enthralling. Like, I loved how he's like, she flipped him over his back and he was in love, basically. And he was kind of a player, but he didn't really want to be a player. And so she's a nerd. I love her nerdiness. Like, she was reading Lord of the Rings and writing smutty MFM Lord of the Rings fanfic. And I was like, yeah, man, yeah. Anyhow, and I loved it. I loved the dynamic. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. It was a great time. I laughed, and it was just it was a really, really good time. I enjoyed it, and I gave 4.5 stars, and I hope that she continues on the series because I'm really excited to see what she does with Brody, who's a side character in this. He's one of Chase's teammates. So the reason why I gave it 4.5 stars instead of a 5-star is because if I had to think about it from all the missing pieces and Steal My Heart, this one, I think it was the insta-love that took the 0.5 star off for me because I didn't really need the insta-love, that how they were fumbling trying to learn to be together and how he had to listen to his friends to learn to date. And she really had to learn to see herself in a new light and to learn to stand up for herself. And she was a very strong character. I really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend the audiobook. I can't tell you who the narrators are because they haven't said it yet. And so if they haven't said it yet, I'm not allowed to tell you. But I'm going to say you will not be disappointed in the audiobook. The audiobook is fantastic. So I highly recommend that one as well. So my last 5-star and it's the last book I read of 2024. And that was Bourbon and Secrets. And I gave 5 stars. This one is the second book in the Bourbon Brothers series, or the Bourbon Boys series by Victoria Wilder. This one, the characters were so flawed and they were complex, but they were also enthralling. So Faye she is a private investigator who wanted to be a cop, but she didn't feel like she should be after something that had happened. She was also a burlesque dancer, and she was undercover trying to uncover some shady dealings of some people in the small town. Now, Lincoln Fox, he's a single dad, and since their first meeting years ago, he's never really stopped thinking about her, and I just loved it. I loved how he was protective over his daughters, and for a good reason, because of some of the subplots. Their characters really grew from lust to love in such a organic and great way. I enjoyed how they changed as characters as the plot progressed throughout the book. There's no part of this novel where I was bored. If you remember from Bourbon and Secrets, there's like last 30 pages or so, like maybe a little bit of that felt like filler, which is the reason why I gave it 4.5 instead of 5. This one, I didn't feel like there was any filler. She can write characters really, really well. Like, I enjoyed all the characters she's written so far in this series, and I'm excited to read Bourbon and Proof when it comes out. The story had a lot going on. A lot happened in the last 20%. The momentum was there. The romance was there. The suspense plot was there. Everything just worked really well with this book, and I'm so excited that I love this book, and I highly recommend it. So those are my favorite books that I really wanted to highlight. There was more that I really enjoyed when I was reading this. Like, I loved the Cleo White book. It was a smutty Christmas novella. That was a lot of fun. But there's more that I enjoyed, but I'm going to end it here. Let me know if you have read any of these, or if you're excited to read the ones that I've read for the arcs that are coming out in January. Let me know down below. And if you made this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here, please leave me fireworks emoji, because this is the last reading wrap up you're going to see in 2024. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.